Hello everyone. In this video we'll study about congestion mechanisms, that is approaches to congestion control. Before that we'll know what do you mean by congestion. Congestion is in a network it occurs when the load in the network it is greater than the capacity of the network. In that case we call it as the congestion has been occurred. And congestion control mechanisms, they refer to the mechanisms or techniques that can either prevent the congestion before it happens or it's going to remove the congestion after it happened. So there are two methods to prevent the congestion, that is there are two congestion control mechanisms. The first one we call it as a open loop and the second one we call it as a closed loop. Open loop, they are used to prevent the congestion before it happens, and closed loop mechanisms, they are going to remove the congestion after they are going to happen. So here we are going to have two broad approaches for the congestion control. The first one is end-to-end congestion control, and second we have it as a network assisted congestion control. In end-to-end congestion control, the network layer it provides no explicit support for the transport layer for the congestion control mechanism, and here we can see that no explicit feedback from the network. So here it mainly deals with end-to-end systems. We have the sender and receiver as the end systems, and they both are going to control the congestion in the network. The network is not going to provide any kind of feedback to either sender or to the receiver regarding the congestion. So congestion info from end systems, observed loss or delay. So how the end systems they are going to come to know that there is a congestion in the network? Whenever they are going to receive the triple duplicate acknowledgements, and whenever there is a loss of the packet, and whenever there are long delays, in that case the end systems they are going to assume on their own that there is a congestion in the network. So this is usually considered as a implicit feedback mechanism. And the next one is approach taken by the TCP. So whenever there is a congestion in the network, either there is a TCP segment loss or the timeout mechanism and the triple duplicate acknowledgements, they are going to indicate that there is a congestion in the network. So this is the approach it is taken by the TCP to know that there is a congestion. And second one is network assisted congestion control. Routers provide feedback to end systems. So here network layer it's going to help for the transport layer to know that there is a congestion in the network. So explicit feedback is given from the network layer. So router it is a part of the network layer, so the router is going to provide explicit feedback to the end systems. So single bit indicating congestion, we have certain bits they are going to indicate that there is a congestion in the network. If you set those bits as 1 when transmitting a packet, then the sender or receiver they are going to come to know that there is a congestion in the network. So some of those kind of bits are DEC bit, ATM bits, TCP IP ECN bits. These are going to indicate that there is a congestion. So explicit rate for sender to send the data, it will be reduced. The sender is going to send the data at a minimal rate. So explicitly the rate at which the sender has to send the data, it need to be specified while transmitting the data. So here network assisted congestion control, it is already specified by the you are going to indicate them with the single bits. So those kind of bits which carry the network related information, those packets we call them as a choke packets. So those choke packets they are going to carry the information related to the network congestion. So here the packets they are going to they will be transmitted from the routers or network devices to the end systems, indicating that there is a congestion in the network. Okay, next we have about the ABR. ABR stands for available bit rate. Here we know that ABR it has been designed as an elastic data transfer service in a manner reminiscent to the TCP. So it was designed for the TCP, and it is mainly used for elastic data transfer. And if the sender's path is overload, that is underloaded, the sender should use available bandwidth. So if the sender is sending the data at the lower rate, then we call it as the network is underloaded. So the bandwidth is not used properly. In that case, sender should use the available bandwidth, and that can increase even the sender's transmission rate. If the sender's path is congested, that is the sender is sending the data at the faster rate or at the higher rate the receiver is unable to receive that. In that case we call it as the sender's path is congested. In that case sender throttled to minimal guaranteed rate. In that case the receiver is unable to receive the data and it does not guarantee the receiving of the packet. So the sender is throttled to minimum guaranteed rate. So the data does not reach the destination properly and it does not guarantee the delivery of the data. So here to avoid the congestion we are going for the RM cells. RM stands for resource management cells. So these resource management cells, they are sent by the sender, and these RM cells, they are used to convey the congestion related information among the host and switches. So when an RM cell arrives at the destination, it will be turned around and it will be sent back to the sender. So here bits in RM cells are set by the switches, that is they are set by the host and switches, and we have the NI bit, that is a no increase bit. So it is mainly used by the sender. So sender is not going to increase the rate at which it is going to send the data, that is no increase in the bit rate at which the sender is going to send the data. That is called as a no increase bit. And CI bit, it is going to say that it is a congestion indication bit. So if there is a CI bit which has been set to 1, which means that there is a congestion in the network. So these are the bits, they work like a flag, and if you set them to 1, then they are going to indicate that there is a congestion in the network. And NI bit is, it is not going to increase the rate at which the data gets transmitted. Next we have RM cells returned to sender by the receiver with bits intact. That is whenever the RM cells are sent, if they reach the destination, and they will be returned back to the sender by the receiver. So here we have the RM cells and the data cells. RM cells, they carry the explicit information about the congestion in the network. So they carry the congestion related information. So we can see them in the diagram. They are indicated with the red colored data cells, and they have been reached the receiver. They have been sent from the sender to the receiver, and the receiver is going to return them back to the sender. We can see the red cells which are returning back to the sender. So here we have a 2-byte ER field in RM cell. 2-byte ER stands for explicit rate, the rate at which the sender has to send the data, that is specified, and the receiver is going to adjust their window size accordingly. So congested switch may lower ER value in the cells, and sender's send rate must thus maximum supportable rate on the paths. So the congestion does not occur when there is a synchronization between the sending rate as well as at the receiving rate. So EFCI bit in the data cell. So EFCI stands for explicit forward congestion indication bit. If this bit has been set to 1, then this is going to indicate that if the data cell preceding RM cells has a EFCI bit set, the receiver sets the CI bit in the returned RM cells. So if the receiver receives the RM cell with EFCI bit, it has been set to 1, then the receiver is going to set the congestion indication bit, and it's going to return back to the sender. So explicitly the sender is going to indicate that there is a congestion in the network. Thank you.